There are three key challenges to blended finance achieving scale. First, the donor community lacks a private sector mobilization strategy. Donor nations are the main source of catalytic funding that mobilizes private investment, but they have not prioritized and budgeted private sector mobilization as a necessity to significantly narrow the SDG financing gap, resulting in catalytic capital deployment that is not strategic and is too small, rigid, and fragmented. Second, the field lacks robust participation from emerging market actors, including local institutional investors, experts from regional development banks, and developing country governments, leading to untapped domestic institutional capital and insufficient buy-in from host governments. In many cases, these actors are best placed to engage in blended transactions. For instance, local institutional investors' intimate understanding of local investment landscapes make them better placed to assess and assume operating risks in developing markets. National development banks can play a critical role in selecting and providing local currency financing for transformative developing market infrastructure projects. Finally, higher levels of coordinated participation from developing country governments in blended finance could catalyze more local institutional capital. Third, there is a lack of transparency in blended finance activity. Concessional capital providers do not publicly disclose financial terms or development outcomes, nor do they require private investors benefiting from their support to disclose data on financial performance. And those investors have no other reason to do so. This lack of transparency limits the evidence base for blended finance as a development tool, making it difficult for donors and multilateral development banks to prove the effectiveness of using their funds for blended finance. For private sector investors, an absence of information on financial outcomes, specifically returns and default rates of blended finance transactions, limits their interests because they need this information to assess risks and increases the cost to developing nations of attracting their capital.